Hello everyone, how are you guys doing? I hope your watercolor going great, you are learning and improving. So in this particular watercolor tutorial, I'm going to talk about watercolor mixing. You got it right. Because the many watercolor beginners, they are struggling with this particular area, and I'm getting hundreds and hundreds of email or messages saying that how to tackle that. But before that, I would ask you to please subscribe my channel, so whenever I upload any new video, you'll get a notification for that, right? So let's do this. Let's subscribe this. I really want you to fast track your watercolor learning. So, after doing my research, I found that the biggest struggle any watercolor beginner has is their fear and how their fear is holding you off. So, to address this common problem, I have created a quick watercolor lesson which will help you to overcome your watercolor fear. So, go to my watercolor class website and request for this lesson. And yes, this is going to be absolutely free. So, go ahead and get this. Look beyond of watercolor mixing and theory and all that. The reason I'm saying I'm seeing a lot of people, they spend their lot of time understanding the theory, doing a lot of practices like mixing this two color things like that. I'm not denying that, and I'm not saying that it's not a good. It's a good way to learn watercolor mixing and the pigment stuff like that. But don't spend so much of time there just figuring out or doing all of these. Even if you are a beginner, you just do it like a 2-3 times, and that's it. Come out from there. So what you really need to do is you need to do that activities in your real painting. You just make some object and do there. You just apply the color there, mix the color, and understand from there, learn from there, instead of just going and understanding the color mixing theory. You'll get a lot of resources all around you. You just search it, you'll get a lot of. Somehow I'm not very much convinced it, because I feel, uh, even though you got a very good knowledge about the color mixing, but let me tell you, the moment you'll get into your watercolor painting, all your theory will be aside. Because you will be absolutely overwhelmed the kind of a reaction you will get once you start giving, putting your color in your paper, and you'll see like in hundreds and like lots of colors around you. You will be totally overwhelmed. So it's better you just do 2-3 times, understand the core level of, very high level of color mixing theory and all that, but come out from there. So don't spend so much of time there. Hey, watercolor mixing is all about how much water, the volume of water you have in your breast. This is something like you must need to familiar with, because the watercolor mixing is not just about you are mixing couple of color or three color together and you are mixing it. No, that's not the reality. The reality is how much water you have in your breast, and how you are mixing these colored couple, two color, three color, four color, whatever the color you are mixing, how it all depends, their contrast, their pigment, the value, the tonal value, the transparency, and everything. It determines how much water you have in your breast. This is very important, and which you need to learn. Now, let me just give you a little more deep knowledge about it. So you must have seen like any artist, when they make art, they use let's take an example. They use a couple of color to mix, right? They just mix together, and in that plate, they haven't yet reached to the paper. In their plate itself, now you see like how much water they have in their brush, and they see the volume, the contrast of that color. Now you see Again they pick some more water and put it in their color, and just see like how the contrast is getting shift, right? How those color contrasts are become more and more fluid. That is absolutely important to understand. You have made it a deep mixing, and from the deep mixing you went to a little and a far lighter. So from light to deep and deep to light, those pattern you need to understand. And these things happens only and only when you practice. So what you need to do is just pick the color, just mix couple of color in your plate, having a little water in your brush, mix it together and just see like what you have right now. What is the color pigment? What is the contrast you have? And then you just take a little more water and just put it there, just little side in the color, and just see like what is the pattern you are getting, and apply it there. When you just apply in your paper and just see the pattern and see the behavior, the reaction you get. That's that's the learning you should have. Right? So try this. Okay, just don't spend understanding the theory and all that. Theory has to come with the learning, with the real time learning, right? And those learnings will go very far. Right? So try this. When you make watercolor art, you have a couple of places you have a great opportunity to improve your watercolor mixing. One is when you make your watercolor art, you need to learn how to mix those color in your color plate itself. You haven't reached to your to paper. In your color plate itself, you learn based on what kind of a painting you are making, the volume, the value you wanted to give, the emotion aspect of it. So all of those things you just need to learn, and based on that you need to create those color scheme, right? And that things happens in your color plate itself, right? So that is the one opportunity. And the another opportunity you have is when you pick those mixed color from your color plate and you are applying those color into your painting. Since since there is already some color and you are putting again another color right next to it, there is some interesting color mixing happens, right? There is an opportunity for you to learn and improve those, right? Because the what kind of, now you'll ask me, so what kind of learning I should have? So the learning should be harmony, how to bring that harmony, how the one color to each other and another color, they complementing each other. Those learnings should happen during your exercise, and you do this exercise. You make a lot of art, mix together, mix together a few color in your color plate and apply it in your painting, and just see like what is the reaction you are getting, what is the harmony you are getting, the value you are getting in your painting. So those learnings should happen, right? And this happens only when you make a lot of art. So that's the very basic rule. So all I want to say is make this kind of the practice as your daily routine for 10 to 15 minutes. Just play around, just pick some color and put it there, and just see like what exactly the kind of a reaction and the things are you're getting, right? And I'm sure you'll have a very interesting learning. Right? Each of your artwork, each of your practice will bring a lot of learning to you, trust me. So go for it and do all of those color mixing theories and all, everything you wanted to come, bring in and just put it there into that painting. And another way to improve your watercolor mixing is your curiosity. Because your curiosity will bring a lot of energy and enthusiasm in you while making artwork, and it inspires you. Basically, it inspires you to do a lot, go beyond of your imagination, and do a lot of experimental kind of work to understand the color mixing theory, and how the whole the color schemes work in your painting. I would recommend you to focus three important things. One is your texture. When you're mixing the color, when you're applying the color, right, you will get a very interesting color texture. When you're mixing these color together, and apply the moment you apply in your paper, you'll see very interesting. When this blending is happening, you'll see very interesting texture, right? Second thing you need to focus on is the blending. So the blending has to happen in a such a way that it should mesmerize you, right? Now there is a various way to get that various kind of a blending where you can tilt your your painting board like sometimes 20-degree angle, sometimes even 45-degree angle, something like that. So be very curious about do such kind of experiment and just see like how those blending happens. Sometimes you just flip your board, just rotate the board and just see like what is the kind of a behavior you are getting, the kind of a texture and the blending you're getting. Just pour a little water, just sprinkle some water in it, plain water in it, and just see like a very interesting texture and the blendings happens, right? So those things are also a good way to understand the color scheme. And third thing you need to focus on is the harmony, the color harmony. No matter what color scheme and how you are mixing those color together, the harmony is very important in your painting. So keep that in mind. When you are applying those color into your painting, it should have a proper balance in your painting, the depth and light, the contrast, the lighter and things like that, the proper composition, right? So all of those matters a lot. And yes, please check my watercolor mini courses and various other courses I have. Please visit my website. So you have a very wonderful, the courses available which I've created for many beginners and intermediate students. So you'll have a lot of fun, a very interesting way to learn watercolor, because learning something has to be in a way that it should be convincing, right? And last and not the least, watercolor mixing is not just a theory. It should be learned through a practice. So thank you so much everyone. I hope you enjoy this tutorial. I will be coming with a new video very soon. Till then, take care and enjoy.